Hi guys, Silverfox here, and I finally have got my AR81 Arcade Diagnostics Tester. It is comprises of a circuit board that interfaces an Arduino Mega 2560 and a Raspberry Pi 3 to diagnose arcade boards. Now, Mark has done a great job. Mark makes these. He's done a great job explaining the product itself, so I'm not going to actually explain the product. I'm just going to kind of show you a few little tweaks and mods that I have actually physically done to this. I will say one thing. I'm going to show you a few modifications that I personally have done. Yes, Mark is aware of these modifications, but I will have to stress one thing very, very importantly, and that is you do void absolutely any warranty or anything if you do these mods. If you blow up your tester after doing these mods, you are on your own. Mark will not help you. But having said that, if this mod becomes approved and Mark is willing to do them, then he probably will offer some sort of support. But unless he does them himself, there is, and that goes for anything, absolutely any mod, any addition, any add-on, anything. If it's done by him, it's obviously warranted. If it's not, then it's not. And I know I have voided my warranty on this product, and that's fine. I've got no problem with that. And in all fairness, they're not really that hard to figure out what's gone wrong. So, you know, I mean, if you have to send it back to Mark or whatever because you've done something to it, I don't think he's going to charge you too much to fix it because, you know, they're fairly straightforward products. So, I'll show you what I've done. We'll have to go to the back. Now, these come usually with a 9-volt power supply. Now, one problem that I do have is I always lose power supplies. Always do. I actually lose EIC cables and figure-of-8 cables as well, so I'm really bad for it. But I don't, you know, I mean, that's one thing that I do have an issue with. So what I've done, I just turn it over. And especially with the fact that this had no switch button as well. So I've done this. Now, normally what you do is you would plug in a 9-volt, 2 amp or so, 9-volt in there, regulated switching power supply. But what I've done is I've gone with the mains power unit. So I've got an EIC, a figure-of-8 there. It goes through a fuse, a 5 amp fast below fuse, and then from the fuse it goes to the switch. The switch then lights up when it's powered on, and it regulates that way. And it works really well. It's 9-volt, 12 watts, 1.5 amp, well 1.6 amps. So it runs the tester perfectly. Now what I'm going to do is I haven't put the screws on the tester purely because I want to show you the inside as well of how I've done it. So let's get the top off, if I can. I don't realise how hard it is to take the top off even with the screws off with one hand. Oh wow. There we are. So that's the top off, and there's the modification that is done. So you've got it going from the mains power, then it comes to this center tap there, goes through the fuse, and it comes back out again. Then it goes to the button, and from the button back to this regulated power supply just down the side here. Really nice. And then you've got your neutral that goes back there, and then you've got your neutral on your light, and then that comes across here. And because it's powered by that connector, a 9-volt DC, then it's been patched in right there, and that's how I've done it. So that's that there. Get that back on. I might not put it back on, I don't know. Oh well. Alright, that's gone on quite nice and easily. Oh no, it hasn't. No, I thought it went on easily, didn't it? See if I can put it on. If I can't, we'll leave it off, and then we'll just power it up while it's still off. Okay, right, I can't get that back on with one hand. So what we do, first things first is we have a figure of 8 cable. Now, with regard, you know, I mean, I did it this way. You can actually use an EIC, a big one of those EIC kettle pins. It has a built-in fuse, switch, connector. It has everything all in one. I've got loads of them, but I didn't want to use that. I didn't want to use the kettle. I wanted to use a figure of 8. You know, I mean, because of the earthing, this doesn't need earthing, so I didn't need the third pin. So first things we do is we plug it in. Now, one thing we have to remember is these actually do have a live and a neutral, but a lot of people don't realise that. It goes in that way. That little lip there, it tells you that that's up. And there's also one more thing that tells you which is live and neutral. Now, if you go on here, and okay, so that's the right way up. But if you turn it around, can you see there's a big N on there? That's neutral. So neutral's on this, and that's standard. Neutral is always on this side. Even on these, neutral's on that side. So you plug it in. There you go. That's plugged in. So now we're just going to switch it off at the mains, because I haven't switched it on at the mains yet. So we're going to switch it on at the mains. So we switch it on at the mains. So now that's been switched on at the mains. Then the way to fire it up is you switch that back. In fact, what I'm going to do, let me just quickly show you it. And the light goes on. And it's now all powered on. And there you go. So, did I do that right? Yeah, I haven't got the mouse at the moment. Oh, there we go. And there we go, the test has started. So there we have it. Test program started, and everything's ready to be now used. And there's your modifications that I've done. Just remember, this modification you do at your own risk, without any warranty whatsoever. Good thing is that this particular product now can be used in Japan and America as well. The reason why is because this power supply that I'm using, I will turn that off a second, and there we go, and that's switched off. This particular power supply is actually what they call free voltage. Free voltage meaning it goes from approximately 85 volts all the way up to 260, I think it is. So it can take anything from those ranges. So 110 for USA and Japan, 240 for UK and Europe. So there we have it. So it can do all the different countries without any problems now. So this is a proper field kit now. Take it anywhere and it will work. You know what I mean? To be honest with you, what you can do is if you isolate that, pull that off and do a few jiggling, you can get this running on a battery. And that would make it a true field kit, to have it running on a battery. So there we have it. So, you know, finally got my tester. Very pleased with it. It did take a bit longer than normal to get. I was supposed to be number 5, meaning the 5th person to get one. I was going to get the 5th product. I ended up getting the 10th product. This is number 10. Long story, but it was agreed with Mark that I'd wait and let the other guys have theirs first. But I'm so glad that I've got it now. So, got a couple of Glaxians and Pac-Mans that I need to fix, and a couple of other bits and bobs. So, be good to see how I get on with it. Okay, speak to you soon, guys. Have a good one.